Well, Mike Heiligenstein is going to talk to us about a unique, as far as I know, among the 50 states institution, the Regional Mobility Authority. Texas has two unusual institutions. In addition to regional mobility authorities, they have county toll road authorities. And I hope that Mike will be able to tell us what the difference is between them and what the advantages and disadvantages are of our both kinds of authorities. Thank you, Mike.
There we go. Well, now we get to go from researchers to people that, or somebody that's actually put it on the ground for 35 years. I've been involved in local government, which I love dearly. I think it's the closest to the people and the most accountable to the people. I think the further up the line you go, the less accountable government becomes. I spent 23 years, 8 of it on the Round Rock City Council, one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and 15 on the Williamson County Commissioners Court, one of the fastest growing counties in the country. And the last 13 years I've been running the Regional Mobility Authority in Austin. So speaking of regulation, I got to tell you a quick story. So when Dell Computer was looking for a place to go, I was in the room when this happened. This was a lot of fun, actually. And they had two options, Austin or Round Rock. And Michael came in, and we were up in the conference room of City Hall, which was above a dog pound, I think, at the time. And he said, well, I'm here. I would like to hear what you have to say. I'm curious of what kind of incentive package or whatever it is that you can offer us. And the mayor at the time, I was Mayor Pro Tem, I think. The mayor at the time said, well, how about this for an incentive? And he slid a building permit across the table at him. And the guy looked at him and he said, what's this? He says, that's your notice to get started on your building. And he said, I think I've made my decision. That's what I like about being able to, that didn't mean he didn't have inspectors during the job, but I can tell you that he got it done fast and in a hurry, just in time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Regional Mobility Authority. We can do anything from trails to airports to rail to highways to, we can actually move water if we needed to. We can actually fix a door if we need to. So if you need me to, let me know. Yeah.
Lower taxes.
Yeah. Hey, Don, how are you? Actually, we have, and I'll show you how. So the Regional Mobility Authorities, just real briefly, are two counties creatures, two very different counties, as Don can tell you, very different. Williamson is a deep red county and Travis is a deep blue county. That's the facts. And we have that to deal with on a transportation. But transportation should know no boundaries, should know no borders. It has to get done no matter where. And we created the mobility authorities to cut across those boundaries, if you will, and start building some desperately needed roads and do it in a manner that didn't add to the tax rates. This is our region. And I think on here somewhere is a laser. And if I hit it, I will probably...
Top button. Top button.
Top one? Oh, this guy here?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. See, as soon as we did that, the door got fixed. Anyway, so here was our first project, was up in Williamson County. There used to be there still is a highway there that's called 183. I don't know if anybody lives off of that, but the bumper stickers about 20 years ago were, pray for me, I drive 183. And you still may find a couple, but this was the first toll road that we did, and it created an alternative. So this one is it got 4 lanes that are non-tolled, which every road we build has a non-tolled component to it, and 4 to 6 tolled. But then we just completed this one right out here, 290, and that went from 4 lanes that had a lot of lights on it, terrible road to get out of towards Houston, into 12 lanes. And that's now 12 lanes, 6 of which are non-tolled, 6 of which are main lanes. These are all the other projects in Central Texas. This is the big 130. And then when you go down, this part of 130 goes down to San Antonio. That's the one that the concession built, which is considered a private toll-operated facility. The state of Texas still owns the land, but it's considered a private facility. And then we have green, which is future projects. So I'm going to get more into this, but I want to start with public perception. I disagree with Ginger on one thing. I'm not sure where she does her survey work. I think it is that before you actually experience a priced and tolled facility, you tend to want to be against it, which I was when I first learned of them in Central Texas. But the more you use them, and the more you understand, you don't use them every day. You don't have to use them every day. You use them when you need to get somewhere. In Austin, I can tell you the difference between getting somewhere, like right here, state representative told me one day he came out from the Capitol, and instead of going up Loop 1 to 183 to his home in Cedar Park to get to a recital, for his daughter's recital on time, he said, you know how I did it, Mike? I came up here, out to 290, toll, 130, 45 to Cedar Park, and I saved 20 minutes. I mean, once he got to 290, he was at 75 miles an hour the entire way. When we're done with this little system that we got going, particularly 183, you'll be able to go from Cedar Park, Leander area, to the airport, 75 miles an hour without stopping. But here's what happens when you open a facility. 85% were satisfied with their experience, feel that 74% that the improvements on 290 East have improved mobility and congestion. And we had some opposition. I believe me, we had some. And 75% is good for the region. It's going to be great for the economy out there. You're already starting to see considerable amount of growth and rooftops and Costco's and just things that part of Austin has not had. All right. So, Skaggs, you're going to love this one. This is Austin with 10,000 people downtown. All right, so the question I asked in Williamson County 3 days ago, and I asked to the Austin Chamber Thursday, was this. So here the stated policy is to move as many people and cram as many people downtown as you can. That is clear. I mean, cram might be a pejorative word. I didn't mean to use it. But that is the fact. What they want to do is go to 30,000. And that sounds reasonable. I said, so what does Austin look like with 30,000? Okay, that's what Austin would look like if you just had 30,000. Is that the value we have? Is that what we're looking for? I don't know. I think it's going to start running into other community values. I don't want Austin to look like Vancouver, but I'm not on the council, and I don't. The point of this is, and John Lewis will know what I'm talking about, this is 30,000 people now downtown. But we're going to have 1 million move here in the next 20 years. Where do the other 970,000 people go? That's what we keep forgetting in this town, is where do the other folks go to live? And that's going to slam into affordability. What I get criticized the most for, and what I get the most comment for at City Hall or at the county sometimes is, hey, cut back on your road projects, cut back on the new capacity you're building, because we're going to move everybody downtown, and we're going to move everybody. And I'm like, really? That's just not going to happen. So my supposition, and I think the truth of the matter is, you're still going to have people living all over the region, and they're living in areas where they have less regulation a lot of times. Not all regulation is created equal, I can tell you that, and that'd be a great book to write someday. But there are a lot of people in this room that want local government to pass regulation because somebody next door is doing something they don't like. And that happens as a public official, I can tell you, more than you realize. People say, we don't want these short-term rentals, or we don't want Uber, or we don't want this. And that leads some government bodies to pass, I think, unreasonable regulations. But it comes from other people. So it's a discussion going on. Here's what Austin looks like on the left if we don't build the roads that we have in our plan. That's the congestion. That's what the congestion is going to look like in 2040. Jim, here's what it looks like with the roads. Much, much better, much cleaner. And we can actually get transit on these roads moving. One of the big reasons I believe transit has such a problem in Austin, and as liberal as people think Austin is, transit is not working because it's in this kind of traffic. You get on a bus, you're sitting there with 60 of your new best friends in the world, as opposed to being in your car with a cup of coffee and XM radio listening to the World Series. So just take your pick. Anyway, this is a big factor. I've got to get this message out more. I've got to get this out to the community more. It's an important message because this is what's under challenge now. Because you know what? We don't need this. We don't need this because all these people are going to live right in here. That's the thinking. All these people are going to live in here. And I'm gonna go back to something after I'm done real quick, but I'm gonna jump ahead. This was the Mobility Authority, the agency I ran. Came in first employee, first director, of course, in 2005. We had a title, and I'm gonna run through this real quick. Under traffic, under construction, all of these facilities right now, and what it did is, and I think this is important for the public policy people to understand, we took $551 million allocated to us through the local MPO, and we turned it into $1.9 billion worth of program, assets on the ground. That 1.9, or a number very close to that, would have been in the tax rate. Instead, it's not. So if you don't ever get on 290, you never pay for 290. That's a big factor. Underdevelopment, 45 Southwest, not a very controversial road. 183 North, Mopac South, not a very controversial road. Oak Hill Parkway. These are all projects that have been sitting in Austin's and the region's bucket to be addressed for decades. For decades. I can tell you, it's been a frustrating experience when you're trying to get people moving across the region. So now we're looking at, this number goes from 551 to 662 million. We're giving Ginger and the TTI these numbers for our studies that they're doing, but it's going to put $3.6 billion worth of roadway on the ground in Austin, Texas. In the region, I shouldn't say just Austin. That includes Williamson County. That's important. 50% of what we build, this is not very well known. I don't do a very good job of saying, hey, 50% of what we build is not told. In fact, it'd be kind of like if we were a water system and you're building a water line you're going to charge people for, but oh, by the way, I'm going to build one over here and it's going to be free water. You get to pick which one you want. This one of them is more reliable and less congested. You might turn on the free water and it not come out of the faucet, so to speak. There's a few other things we're doing. One of the things I'm really interested in is this. This is a little bitty thing called dark fiber smart roads, but in 183 South, the 8-mile road to the airport, 12 lanes, we're going to make that infrastructure as absolutely smart as we can make it by burying fiber into it. The point of that is, San Antonio has one of the worst wrong-way accident records in the country per capita. It's horrible. At one point last year, they were at 142. That's just, I'm just stunned by some of those numbers. 183, the one thing that concerns about 183 is we're turning 183 2-lane with traffic signalization throughout that corridor into a 12-lane road that you're going to be able to go 75 miles an hour on. That's going to mean a lot more speed. I want to have the infrastructure embedded with dark fiber that if some car, and the cars are going to be talking to infrastructure, that's already there, that they can shut that car down, we can shut that, or the infrastructure actually shuts that car down before it gets into a lane going in the wrong direction, and you can save the lives of a family. So that's a small thing. A lot of other programs. 183, I-35 that's out here right now, on all of the new money we're talking about, could take all of that money that Austin is going to get, which would be about $150 million more a year for the next 20 years to fix I-35. That is a $3 billion program to go from 45 in Round Rock to 45 in Buda. The point that I think Ginger was trying to make is there's still a lot of need. When we've waited, and it should be an embarrassment to the state of Texas and to this community and this region, that we've let I-35 become what it is, a parking lot. I mean, you'll go out there at 2 in the afternoon, you'll go out there at 10 in the morning, and you're bumper to bumper. You're not getting anywhere. It's just disconcerting, and it's going to cost us a lot. As A&M once said, researcher at A&M once said, all the cheap stuff is done. I want to go back to this right now real quick, and I'm done. West Austin. So you remember that little graph I did? I was showing you this, and I didn't do it. Right here, this average price of a home right there, about 1.6 million. Downtown, over $1 million. Central Austin, 914,000. South Austin, 500,000. Far Northwest, 450. Leander, 356,000. Ho, 267,000. Elgin, right there, 201,000. And Manor, 225,000. Where people can, and I'll end on this. I hear this argument all the time. People, if we get this transit thing fixed, you can give away one of your cars. And you only need one car. Well, where do people, what's the first decision you usually make as a young couple that's going to have a family is qualifying for a house. That is critical and that's important. That's your dream, to be able to get into a house and have your own lifestyle. That lifestyle is only available to the bulk of our population in the periphery. It's not available downtown. You can't spend $1,500 to $2,000 per square foot and raise a family on a normal wage. So the point of all that is these roads and these facilities we're building are also being built for those people who are our wage earners, who are the folks that are working at our city, working in our school district, and working in the counties and private sector. They are folks that are working at the state agencies. So I think it's disingenuous to say we don't build 45 Southwest because it's for those people in Hays County. That's bull. That is for people who are working at JW Marriott, and they're people who are inspectors at the City of Austin, or they're people who are at the state. So that's my speech of the day. And so I've taken all of that little bit of background I've had for 35 years as a public official, and it manifests itself in trying to do something for the region. I'm going to let you run the question.